Hello, BookTube. Well, it's that melancholy moment of the week, the last mail haul before a bleak and barren Sunday. And just as well, because the ramparts are pretty high, and that's not even the whole week. I had to trim the ramparts because they were getting so big. I have a mail haul here that I thought we'd go through. It's been, although you haven't known it, an unsuccessful week for mail hauls, at least from a BookTube point of view. Earlier in the week, I think it was Monday, I had a big mail haul that I opened privately for an old friend of mine who wanted to go through the vicarious experience via Skype, but preferred not to share it with an audience. Yesterday, I had two big mail hauls, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, and neither one of them made it to BookTube. The one in the morning, one of the books sparked a long and vitriolic rant about Donald Trump and the end of America that I thought, nobody's watching this channel for that. I just kept going. You don't turn the camera off. I just kept going, and then when I was finished, I realized, that's the bulk of the thing. And the thing about mail hauls is you can't redo them, right? Because you're taking books out of packages. And then the one in the afternoon kept being interrupted by a guest of mine, by a very rude Sherpette that just would not stop interrupting just for the fun of it. So I eventually called a halt to it. And that's bad, because that's a whole bunch of books that 6 months from now I'm going to say, I think I hauled this already, but I really didn't. So I'm going to hope for better luck. I'm going to keep the camera running. I'm going to hope for better luck with this. It's a few packages. It ends with a great big box, and we'll just hope that it works out. No matter how I'm tempted, I am not going to talk about Donald Trump in this video, and maybe that'll do it. Maybe that'll get us through. Oh my, okay, alright, just in time for March Mystery Madness. This is a mystery, this is a murder mystery. This is due in June. It is A Stone's Throw, an Ellie Stone mystery by James Ziskin. August 1962, a suspicious fire claims a tumble-down foaling barn on the grounds of the once-proud Tempesta Stud Farm, halfway between New Holland and Saratoga Springs. The blaze, one of several in recent years at the abandoned farm, barely prompts a shrug from the local sheriff. That is until quote-unquote girl reporter Ellie Stone, first on the scene, uncovers a single length of racing silk in the rubble of the barn. And it's wrapped around the neck of one of the two charred bodies buried in the ashes. A bullet between the eyes of one of the victims confirms it's murder, and the police suspect gamblers. Ellie digs deeper. I think I vaguely remember an earlier volume in this series that we might have even seen on this channel. Okay. Wonderful. Well, the March Mystery Madness that I mentioned, just for those who might not know, is a big BookTube event that's happening in the month of March, in which a whole bunch of BookTubers have been gathered together to help co-host and celebrate all things mystery. And this would fall in the category, it sounds like, of a murder mystery set around horse racing. I don't know if the whole series does. I don't remember the series well enough to know that. But this comes out in the summer when March Mystery Madness will be long over. I'm tempted to read it now. That plot description sounded kind of good. But let's move on. Let's see what else we have here. Terrible thing to finish filming a video and watch it again and realize, no, that's not usable. It's a terrible thing. And I know there'll be some of you who will say, oh, you should upload it anyway, but you're just being generous, that's all. Okay, here's another one from the summer. This is great. This is The Cloven by B. Gatling. This the author of The Vor, a great science fiction novel called The Vor. And this is the third volume in the series that The Vor started. The Vor is about an enormous, soul-devouring jungle. The book has a whole bunch of other plots, but it's the jungle that you'll remember. And this is the third in the series. That's what it's going to look like in its American cover, needless to say. In The Cloven, Catling once again interweaves historical events with the creations of his wild imagination. Here it is World War II. As war looms over London and Germany gears up to begin the Blitz. Only Nicholas the erstwhile senses danger to come. Simultaneously, in the realm of the Vor, the colonial city of Essenwald gives up its secrets, as the ancient forest seeks to reclaim what has been taken from it. Those who have been enslaved shall no longer be, and the two heroes, once thought dead, shall re-emerge stronger than ever. The Cloven is a book of battles and betrayals in which Catling's mind-bending creations fulfill their destinies and lead the reader to the epic climax, with the fate of mankind hanging in the balance. Okay, great. So this is not going to be an ongoing series. This is the dread of my existence now, is that every fantasy author is going to make his series open-ended. No, this concludes. It concludes with this. That's great. Fantastic. Okay, great. And the Vor, has blurbs from Philip Pullman, Michael Moorcock, Jeff Vandermeer, Alan Moore, Terry Gilliam, and Tom Waits. You know you've arrived as a book when you have blurbs like that. Okay, so that comes out in the summer. Wonderful. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to this next one. So we're hitting the genres here: murder and science fiction. So I wonder if romance will be in here. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, this is from Random House. This comes out in the spring. Yeah, in late April. This is by Tristram Corton, and it is called Into the Storm. The long subtitle is Two Ships, a Deadly Hurricane, and an Epic Battle for Survival. And one of the ships is the El Faro, if I remember correctly. But let's see here. In late September 2015, Hurricane Joaquin swept past the Bahamas and swallowed a pair of cargo vessels in its destructive path. El Faro, a 790-foot American behemoth with a crew of 33, and the Minouche, a 230-foot freighter with a dozen sailors aboard. From the parallel stories of these ships and their final journeys, Into the Storm author Tristram Corton weaves a remarkable tale of two veteran sea captains from very different worlds, the harrowing ordeals of their desperate crews, and the Coast Guard's extraordinary battle against a storm that defied prediction. Okay. All right, and this is one of many books that are coming out about the El Faro. I mean, the Minouche is new to me, part of the story, but there are 4 or 5 long works of reportage coming out about the El Faro, and some of the reportage on this thing, I mean, I've been reading about it in men's magazines for a year now, and some of the reporting on it is just maddening. I have no idea about the second vessel, but the El Faro, the star of the story, the enormous freighter that was lost with all hands in the storm, was lost solely through the arrogance and incompetence of its captain, Captain Davidson, who saw the storm for what it was in plenty of time to avoid it. He was warned by everybody. He was pleaded with by his crew. They were all looking at this monster storm. They were all saying, if you sail into that thing or anywhere near it, it will crush you. And he decided to do it anyway. And as a result, he died, and so did everyone else. All those deaths can be squarely laid at his door. The loss of his vessel and all of its cargo can be squarely laid at his door. This was not, the Minouche might be different, but in his case, the El Faro's case was not a case of a ship being caught off guard by an unexpectedly strong storm. It was pure, arrogant malfeasance on the part of its captain. And I think a lot of the books on the subject are going to follow suit with a lot of the articles that I've read. In fact, they'll probably grow out of those articles. And sort of blur that in order to heighten the drama. Right? Because if you have an epic battle at sea type story, you want the sea to be the villain. I don't know. Well, I'll read them all, of course, but I also followed the story when it was unfolding, and it's horrifying to me that any experienced sea captain could be so cavalier with the lives under his care. It's, oh, great. Oh, fantastic. Oh, all right. This is Women in Sunlight by Frances Mays, the author of Under the Tuscan Sun, the mega bestseller Under the Tuscan Sun. I wanted this. This is, listen, let me read it to you here. From her peaceful Tuscan hillside, writer Kit Rain witnesses the chaotic arrival of 3 American women and their mountain of luggage and a dog. She's intrigued. They're not just on vacation, she surmises. Benvenute, Kit thinks. Welcome. She experiences a strange jolt that as a writer she recognizes. Inspiration. The women, Julia, Camille, and Susan, have launched a spontaneous friendship back in North Carolina. Susan, the most audacious of the three, has enticed them to subvert expectations of staid retirement by leasing the beautiful abandoned Villa Assunte. The three women are funny and profound, questing and domestic. Though novices in a foreign culture, a new sense of adventure imbues each of them with a bright sense of bravery, a gusto for life, and a fierce determination to thrive. Kit is with them all the way. Discovering her own life can still surprise. So this, of course, you're all going to recognize the echoes there. The Enchanted April. This is a direct take on the template of an Enchanted April. But advance word that I've heard, I have a few spies, a few people on the drum line, and I thought Under the Tuscan Sun was good but slight, and I've been told that I should check this out. That this is a slightly different register and a memorably good book, so I can't wait. This is soon, I think. Yeah, this is April 3rd. This is right at the beginning of April. That's great, because I want to read this right away. But I know two people. I'll confess, both of them are authors, and they both read this, and they both say it's really, really good. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm looking forward to it. All right, then we'll move on here. We're getting closer and closer to the box. Still haven't had a video canceling episode. So that's good, because that was getting depressing, having tons and tons of books that I wasn't showing you. Okay. All right, great. This is by Callie Bates. This is The Memory of Fire, which I will try to remember to hold up for you here. When we first met noble sorcerer Jahan Korakides in Callie Bates' superior debut, The Waking Land, he was a character in someone else's story. Standing at Elana Valatai's side as she accepted her powers, woke the land, and led a rebellion against the kingdom to which she once gave her allegiance. Now, in The Memory of Fire, Jahan's own journey takes center stage as he returns to Pilatus in a desperate attempt to broker peace between Pilatus and the newly independent lands the Empire once controlled. Okay, so I probably got a copy, maybe, of The Waking Land, but I don't have it anymore. I'm sure I don't have it anymore. All right, so this is June. I should probably ask if maybe they have a copy kicking around of the first one. I'm not sure that I read it. It doesn't ring a bell. And then the last thing is the box. Great heavy box. Too heavy, I think, to be only one book, because I think I would know. Maybe it's a finished copy of something huge that I've only had an advanced copy. There are only two books I can think of that are this big that are coming out. And actually, now that I think of it, I don't have finished copies of either one of them, so this could be great. Let's see what we have here. Oh, it's not a finished copy. It's not a finished copy. What have we got here? Oh my God, what is this? I don't believe it. Okay. All right. I did not see this coming. And the reason why is because I typically, when I search for what's coming up, just a general search without going to catalogs or anything like that, I go to Amazon. I go to their advanced search function. And then I use it. I use the heck out of the advanced search function. You go to the advanced search function, and then when you click on that, then you go and find the month that you're looking for. I do it month by month. You don't have to. You can just after a certain date. I do it month by month. I pick a month and a year, of course. And then when I click on that, when the results come up, I then select for hardcover so that I'm not seeing reprints or mass market paperbacks, which I can't pitch and which I'm not going to be reviewing for any newspaper. And then once the hardcovers are up, then I go by subject. I don't page through 1,000 books. I go to the left-hand side and I pick the subjects that I want to see what's coming up in those subjects in hardcover in that month. And the reason that I missed this, which is certainly going to be the longest book that I read this year, is because it isn't one of my subjects. It never occurred to me to look for it. This is Top Incomes in France in the 20th Century by Thomas Piketty, the author of Capital. Some of you may remember it was the book of the day a few years ago. Enormous book called Capital. This thing is half again as big as Capital was. God bless the people at Harvard University. That is just so awesome. Okay. All right. I had my problems with Capital. I read it, and I had my problems with it. Big problems with it. What on earth is this? It's 1,280 pages. It's 1,300 pages long. Okay. All right. A landmark in contemporary social science. Well, it bloody well better be. This groundbreaking work is where Thomas Piketty showcased the data collection and analysis that became such a phenomenon with Capital. He explains the patterns of income inequality in France in the 21st century and presents a study of who earned what and how war and politics shaped the rise, fall, and reemergence of inequality in France. We're thrilled to be publishing a work of scholarship so important to Piketty. Top Incomes in France in the 20th century is essential, in part because of Piketty's unprecedented efforts to uncover, untangle, and present in clear form data about patterns of tax and inheritance in France dating back to 1900. But it is also an exceptional work of analysis, tracking and explaining the effects of political conflict, war, and social change on the economic pressures and public policies that determine the lives of millions. Okay. All right. Let's see this thing one more time. Look at the size of this. That is just amazing. It ended up being one book. It's translated by Seth Ackerman, who I assume is no longer with us. And it's just enormous. Oh, my. Okay, now this is from Harvard. This is from Harvard University Press. It's 1,300 pages long. Comes out in a couple of weeks, in early May. It comes out in early May. I gotta assume that every major review venue is getting a copy of this in a box just like I did. And they probably have it by now, or are getting it right about now. How on earth are you going to put this on your docket if you're a book editor? You're not going to be able to do it in a timely manner. This is going to show up in bookstores in a little over a month. How are you possibly going to assign that? Wow. Okay. All right, did not see that coming. That's awesome. It's going to be a long read for me. That's wonderful. I would love it if it weren't about top income in France from 1900 to 2018, but I'll take it. Because I want to give, Capital was an obviously important work that I thought was hugely flawed. And everyone was talking about it, and that never happens with works of nonfiction. So I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I couldn't do it. I'm glad I get another shot at the author, is what I'm saying. That's great. All right, so we have what's happening to the light here? You can't even see what I'm showing you here. Let's try that. Is that any better? Let's do that. Is that any better? Well, no. Okay. Top Incomes in France in the 20th century. That's the brick at the bottom of the pile here. Then The Memory of Fire, book 2 in a fantasy series. Women in Sunlight by Frances Mays, whose name is well known, but I'm looking forward to this book. Then Into the Storm, the first of what I suspect will be many books on the El Faro disaster. Then The Cloven by B. Gatling. And finally, A Stone's Throw, a murder mystery. And there we go. That is something. Okay. This mail haul seems suitable. No interruptions, no foam-flecked rants, no nothing. So I will just upload it, and I will upload plenty more. So I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.